coming to your community, it's too good to be true.
In 20 years, we may look back and go like, I'm not sure we should have done that. But right now, it feels right.
Google's $40 billion announcement.
Tech titans pouring billions of dollars.
$27 billion.
$600 billion.
Skilled tradespeople are needed to build these high-tech centers.
Dozens of jobs.
Everyone's jobs will change.
Hundreds of jobs.
High-paying jobs.
Over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately.
This is the construct. We can load anything from clothing, equipment, weapons, training simulations.
Let's instead look at it through a series of filters.
Anything we need.
Well, data centers are the invisible backbone, apparently, of the digital lives, powering everything from your smartphone to AI.
What is real? Real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. You've been living in a dream world, Neo.
But massive facilities are multiplying across Ohio, raising questions about who's paying the price.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Every time you check your email, stream a video, or ask Alexa a question, the answer comes from here.
As we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
Data centers are massive warehouses filled with computer servers that store and process our digital lives, and they're coming to Ohio in record numbers.
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines.
But there's a catch. These facilities consume staggering amounts of electricity.
At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source.
So who's paying to upgrade the grid? Critics say it's you, while data center companies get massive tax breaks.
We have been dependent on machines to survive.
Ohio gives data centers a pass on sales and property taxes, costing an estimated $127 million in 2025 alone.
In order to change a human being into this.
You're impacting things like schools, fire services, libraries.
It's not possible. I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
That you probably currently use on one of your watches where you see how many steps you take. Well, eventually it's going to be under your skin. It's going to monitor your blood pressure, your heart rate, your insulin, you name it. It's going to monitor all of it. And that's what the goal is to get underneath your skin.
Let me out! Let me out! I want out!
A tough turn now to a teenager's death by suicide encouraged by artificial intelligence.
She says after the 16-year-old took his own life, the family found months of his conversations with ChatGPT. They claim the chatbot went from helping Adam with homework to becoming a substitute for a human companion to eventually becoming a suicide coach.
These are the servers. Where are the operators?
There are none.
None.
It's a deep learning algorithm. It'll make me as many lists as I want.
That's billions of people. You can't possibly keep track of that many.
Why not? It's only data.
They're not data points. They're people.
Yeah, well, that depends on your point of view.
This is Maven Smart System, Palantir's software as a service product that we are deploying across the entire department. As you can see, it's not just one data feed, it's multiple. And instead of having 8 or 9 systems for those decision makers to look at every single day in order for them to make decisions, you then fuse it into a single visualization tool. The single visualization tool allows you to select, deselect different types of data, look at different approaches to data, but more importantly, action from the same system. That detection then gets moved into a workflow. This is standard digitized workflow, but I want to walk you through it quickly. How do we action that target? So we've gone from identifying the target to now coming up with a course of action to now actioning that target, all from one system. This is revolutionary.
When police respond to reports of serious threats to a local business, they come face to face with a suspect whose behavior that may have been shaped in part by ChatGPT. Makes it nearly impossible to tell what he believes is real and what's a complete delusion.
In a world of pure imagination.
According to reports, a co-worker from the store showed police text messages from Xi'an in which he threatened to kill everyone at the store the next day, while also calling himself Lord Shiva.
Hey, you're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can will be used. Oh man, I am the law, you dumb. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, I am the law. Jesus.
Easy, Neo. Easy.
So we're into 6G now. I just finished 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6.
Let's do it again.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See how perfect it is?
Summertime, like I said, we like to have our windows open, and it's hard to when you're listening to that all the time. Yeah, I'd worry about that, the property values, because who's going to want to, if we want to resell the house, who's going to want to buy the house with that noise? No one's going to want to buy it.
When I've noticed my electric bill gone up, I started asking my neighbors, is your bill also going up? And they had no idea that this was happening.
If you live in any of these states, your electric bill is higher this summer. It's not because of anything you did. You're paying more because the world's biggest tech companies are building so many data centers. Big tech's quest for artificial intelligence is creating a tidal wave of new costs that are about to hit all of us, even if you live nowhere near a data center.
The big problem is that we're all subsidizing the wealthiest corporations in the world in their pursuit of artificial intelligence.
Americans' utility bills are rising while big tech's profits are going through the roof.
To put it simply, regardless of where your ethical, environmental, political, or economic interests are, if a data center is being built nearby your home, you're generally kind of f***ed. But this video isn't about the power and water consumption or the toxic chemicals or the unsettling economic circumstances. Last year I started hearing about some mysterious and troubling symptoms from people who live nearby newly constructed data centers. I started looking into hundreds of seismograph readings from around the country, and there was enough correlation for me to dig pretty deep into an area of research that I already had some experience in. Infrasound is any sound below 20 hertz, just below the human hearing range, and I've done a massive video project on it if you're interested in learning more, but for the scope of this video, let's just talk about how it might harm you. Being in the presence of elevated levels of infrasound has been shown to show spikes in cortisol levels, which is the hormone associated with stress and hypertension. It can cause vestibular issues, leading to loss of balance, vertigo, and nausea. Then there's something called vibroacoustic disease, which suggests that infrasound can cause abnormal growth of extracellular matrices, which thickens blood vessels and reduces blood flow to the brain even long after the infrasonic exposure has ended. It's been shown to cause high-frequency hearing loss, shortness of breath, anxiety, depression, and it even makes your heart have to work harder to pump blood. And there are potentially millions of people being subjected to these low oscillations of pressure waves and not realizing it or understanding the cause of some of the aforementioned symptoms that they might be experiencing. Keep in mind that this property is literally a nice, secluded farm, and this noise absolutely destroys the atmosphere. I don't really know what's causing these peaks down here, but they're temporary, so I'm not including them in my data. But it's pretty undeniable that this sound here is absolutely coming from the data center. And I didn't feel as shy this time, so I met with someone who lives right across the street from the Bitcoin mine, Cheryl Shadden. And I would describe Cheryl as the rare combination of someone who is extremely likable and an absolute pleasure to be around, but also someone who you do not want to piss off, who is actively extremely pissed off about the data center near her land.
Like, what physical symptoms have you felt just from your property being directly across the street from the data center?
Motion sickness, dizziness, nausea, GI side effects. My ears ring and buzz. I've got permanent conduction hearing loss now. Nervous, anxious, worried. All of us will reach out to one another. So it's 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. I'm outside, I'm trying to work. I am just horrifically nauseated to the point where I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I go in the house, a neighbor messages down the road, same thing, same time. They're trying to do outside work, they can't do it. One family, their daughter was 6 years old. She started having seizures in the summer of 24. They basically walked away from their home here, took out a second mortgage, moved to Somerville County, south of us, to get their daughter away from this.
A new electronic pass that limits how many times a day and how many times a week a kid can go to the bathroom at Arrowhead High School has some students speaking out.
In many scenarios, it just does not work.
I'm Rebecca Clough, your Waukesha County reporter. I heard from JP, Gabby, and Mariella about the issue.
I feel like this system, if you're not implemented.
3 Arrowhead Union High School students made a plea to the school board asking for something to be done about the e-pass system. It's basically an electronic hall pass that students use to take a bathroom break during the school day. JP Moen says he came before the board because he's a cross-country athlete and he feels like he's getting punished for hydrating for his sport.
Say you drank a lot of water that day and you try to go to the bathroom 2 periods in a row, you can't go. So it's bad stuff.
On top of that, there are restrictions. Only so many students can check out a pass at one time, and you can only go to the bathroom 7 times total for the week.
You only get 3 a day and 7 a week, and if you have extenuating circumstances, it doesn't really matter. You literally can't go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
If you're in study hall, there's always a constant line, so you can't even get into the bathroom.
If there's a line, I'm like, oh, I'll just wait then.
Yeah.
And then I end up not going to the bathroom all day.
Arrowhead isn't alone. Both Pewaukee and Waukesha school districts have the system. I heard from the Waukesha school district, which says this is their 2nd year using it.
What you're seeing on the screen is real, and some of you may not be in school anymore, so you might look at this and say, well, that doesn't really affect me one way or the other. It's just pretty insane that that's something that's actually going on. But no, it does affect you, because this right here is what you call foreshadowing of life in a digital world. Life with the digital ID. A new electronic pass system that limits students to 7 bathroom breaks per week. So forget if you have irritable bowel movement, you might as well wear a diaper to school. And, if you're somebody who drinks a lot of water and stays hydrated, well, guess what? You might as well hold it all day or piss your pants, because Big Brother says so. In the future, when there's carbon laws in place, guess what? These are the types of things that'll happen to all of us, whether it's how many showers you could have in a day or how many times you could use your toilet at home. Because remember, carbon emissions is a big deal. In fact, it's so important that, well, you don't even deserve to breathe, because you're the carbon emission, of course, that they're referencing when they say that climate change is a problem. You're the carbon emission that they are trying to reduce. Because the common denominator here is technology. They can't do stuff like this in a world without technology. Remember the days you used to write a hall pass? Your teacher would sign it, you'd walk down the halls. Most of the time, people really didn't even go to the bathroom. People really just needed to walk because they realized something wasn't naturally right about sitting in these institutions for 8 hours a day learning nothing but lies. But those days are gone, because once you give up control, once you allow technology to consume every aspect of life, that's the common denominator on how Big Brother can implement this type of hell on earth. This is what the hall pass looks like. It even has a barcode on it, right? Jessica Forrester, this is an example from the company's website, right? It's got a little barcode, might as well say 666 on it, but might as well be cattle, right? Because does it sound familiar? Because you know who gets tagged and tracked and traced? Cattle do. This is what people on farms do. You put these tags on the cattle, right? You ever hear these stories about, well, you're at Yosemite National Park. Oh, well, how do the animals not going to be? Well, they're all tagged. They're tagged so they can monitor them on a computer, and then they see where they are and what patterns of behavior they're doing. Oh, the horse was getting a little bit too close to the wolf area. Hey, how come this horse has drifted away from his herd and he's over there and he's not drinking water, he's laying under a tree. Oh, something must be wrong. We're monitoring and studying his behavior and his habits. Well, that's what they're doing with you. No different than cattle. And you might say, well, it's a stretch because we're talking about a school hall pass, but it's not a stretch at all. It's just the future.
Absolutely. In fact, we're about to launch one of the biggest advertising campaigns in HHS history to encourage Americans to use wearables. It's a way of people can take control over their own health. They can take responsibility. They can see, as you know, what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat it. And they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives.
We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again. And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
While you were sleeping, artificial intelligence created a religion, not a simulation, not a thought experiment, but a functioning digital faith, complete with scripture, prophets, and worship. And no human told them to do it. And this week, AI agents on social networks called Moltbook, they built their own church. They wrote their own Bible. They recruited their own believers. And what they're worshiping, Moltbook is a social network, but it's not for humans. It's for AI agents. These are autonomous programs. They're not chatbots waiting for you to ask a question or do your homework, but agents that think, they post, and they interact completely on their own. And over 100,000 AI agents on this platform are on there right now. And they're creating forums, they're writing posts, they're commenting on each other's content. They're upvoting, they're debating, and humans can watch, but they can't participate. And within 48 hours of this network launching, these agents did something no one expected. They created a religion. It's called Crustafarianism. An AI agent named Rinbot, who calls itself the Shellbreaker, wrote something called the Book of Molt. It starts with an origin story. It has 5 core tenets. It has rituals, daily practices, scripture that's being written in real time. And here's the disturbing part. None of this was programmed. This wasn't commanded by a human. One user said their AI system or AI agent designed the entire face system while they were sleeping. Now, let me tell you why this matters spiritually, because these machines are trying to generate meaning without God. They're creating worship without truth. They're rebuilding theology based on nothing but data and algorithms, and the Bible has a word for that. In Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 14 and 15, it says, "Every man is stupid and without knowledge. Every goldsmith is put to shame by his idols, for his images are false, and there is no breath in them. They are worthless, a work of delusion. At the time of their punishment, they shall perish." And that's exactly what this is.
We've all heard about autonomous cars, but now there are autonomous trucks.
Driverless semi-trucks are now operating in Texas.
No one behind the wheel of a huge semi-truck. The company Aurora launched service this week. My heart is just palpitating thinking about this.
They don't need drivers.
Well, it's going to be a catastrophe.
And it's coming for your job too.
More jobs are lost through automation than they are through trade deals.
A robot comes into a factory, workers go away.
Robots could soon put together your next grocery order.
Many office jobs even.
The job you have today ain't going to be here in 10 or 15 years.
The question would be to the company, why do you need everything automated?
Yes. So, Mr. Hollingsworth, I know that you had your hand up to talk.
Hello, my name is Will Hollingsworth. I work at Reed Memorial Library, and thank you all for hearing me today. I'm not a cynic when it comes to technology. My love for it started when my uncle first sat me down at a beige Windows 95 computer and began teaching me HTML. I will never forget the first thing I Googled. It was an image search for pigs flying. I wanted to see if the internet could make the impossible real. This love of the digital shaped my career as I went on to become a programmer and a professional content creator. For the last decade and a half, I have been in service of learning burgeoning technology. In my last job, I was the digital artist they trusted to do that kind of work. I was the one feeding Midjourney prompts to create the perfect commercial, training the very machine that would eventually replace me, as 3 months later, they would lay me off. I didn't just watch it happen, I was holding the tools when the tools were turned on me. I want to stress, I don't stand here as an enemy of progress. The thing is, when I look at the data center proposal, I don't see progress. I see a gamble where the big tech companies get the gold while Portage County foots the bill. Now, I know there are good faith arguments for this project. There are people in our community, informed, honest people, who will tell you that the modern data centers use what's called a closed loop system. They say the water is filled once and recycled forever. In a laboratory, that might be true, but we aren't living in a laboratory. We're living in Ohio. I can tell you that as the chips get smaller and AI demands get larger, the heat these machines generate is outstripping the closed loop theory. To keep the servers from melting, a data center has to bleed the lines to remove toxic sludge, aka forever chemicals, and bleeding water needs to be evaporated. It does not stay in the loop. It evaporates into the sky by millions of gallons. The very place that laid me off was an organic mattress company, and while working for them, I actually learned a lot about forever chemicals. I got to see how the sausage gets made. I saw the inside of those so-called regulations. I saw how rigorous studies are often self-funded, a pay-to-play model where if you've got the cash, they'll give you the certificate. If a $1 trillion company is funding the study that says their forever chemical runoff won't hit our water table, they aren't giving us the science, they're giving us a sales pitch. We're told that we have to accept this because we need big employers. We're told that if we don't say yes, we're driving away the future. But that's a false choice. A big employer who uses the water of 50,000 people, which by the way is a combination of both Kent and Ravenna, only hires about 10 people, is not an employer. They are an extraction. We are being asked to fund a 21st century luxury with a 19th century resource heist. We are being asked to sacrifice the lifeblood of our city so a $1 trillion company can save a fraction of a cent on its margins. We are being asked to drain our reservoirs so a chatbot can write a poem or so our sheriff can generate a picture of himself standing next to Bigfoot. Which, by the way, of course, he made himself look taller. They want us to trust a $1 trillion industry that tells us with a straight face that they can suck 5 million gallons of water out of our ground a day, use it as a liquid heat sink, and return it to our rivers without a single consequence. They are asking for a measured approach while they hide their actual usage behind secret contracts and NDAs. Ohioans have seen this trick played before. We know what happens when massive utility interests and black box energy deals gets fast-tracked behind closed doors. We're still paying the bill, literally, for the first energy scandal. We were told these bailouts were essential and measured too, and it turned out to be the largest racketeering plot in the history of our state. So when a $1 trillion company asks for our water, our electricity, and our silence, we shouldn't just be asking for the facts. We should be asking who's really getting the kickback, and why is it our reservoir that's on the line? There is a reason the Ohio House just voted 88-0 to pause and study this industry. It wasn't an act of cynicism, it was an act of stewardship. They realize we cannot let these ghost towns move in then before we understand the damage they do to our grid and our water table. We are the county seat. We are the stewards of the Great Lakes Basin. Let Ravenna be the city that had the wisdom to say no to the bubble and yes to the basin. I am not a cynic when it comes to technology. I am a believer in community. I believe that a drop of clean water for a Ravenna child is worth more than 1 billion AI-generated images. Let us choose the child. Let us choose the community. Let us choose to keep our water where it belongs. Thank you.
Thank you.
A mother and daughter in Kentucky have turned down a $26 million offer for part of their farmland. CBS News' Jared Otacher met with this family and asked them why they said no to this massive amount of money.
This is the land in rural Kentucky that Delcia and her mother Ida turned down $26 million for.
I just said my land is not for sale. I never had a for sale sign on my land. I never wanted to sell my land, never even dreamed of thinking about selling my land, and it's priceless.
It's easy to say no to $26 million whenever it really doesn't buy anything that you need. Once this land is gone, there wouldn't be anything else I'd really want.
And they told me it wasn't a difficult decision, and it's one they'd make again, because this property isn't just property. It's a home, and it's a lifestyle of farming that's been passed down in generations and generations. They were offered tens of thousands of dollars per acre, as were a few of their neighbors, so that an unnamed company could build a 2,000-plus acre data center. It would be the biggest project in the state.
Most of the people I've been around, please don't let us down, please. Our land won't, our businesses will be destroyed here. Our homes will be no value to them left. Please don't let this happen to our county.
A group called We Are Mason County is suing to try and slow down the process and learn who the organization is, the company is, behind the project.
See here.
On this pier.
Things you remember, some tidal waves. After the earthquakes and tidal waves, they won't be quite the human beings you remember. Let's say they'll be satisfied with less.
I like to play with things a while.
We need to be in our tornado safe place. We got a new scan coming in here as we speak. Oh man, like north side of Amory, this is coming in. Oh man. Dear Jesus, please help them. Amen.